It is time for a rant and a rave on this Friday afternoon, April the 28th, 2023. The title, I love the Chinese government, the CCP or the CPC, and down with the USA. Why have I said that? Well, to grab your attention. Many of us do use Twitter. Maybe we just look at some things which are happening in the world, but quite often you would get an advert or an announcement from a Chinese affiliate or state media saying this. And the question is, why is it allowed? Why is the Chinese propaganda machine allowed to use Twitter? Well, Twitter, you could say, is meant to be freedom of speech one way or the other. You can agree or disagree with that, but we can post on it anywhere in the world. But how come the American government doesn't or is not allowed to post their state media on Weibo? Weibo is the Chinese Twitter, basically, and like a lot of Chinese media, you cannot put anything bad, like down with the Chinese government. I hate Xi Jinping. The Chinese government is corrupt, for example. What I'm showing you here in the background, so to speak, is just some posts on Twitter from either China Global or the Global Times or China Daily. And quite often they would have things all about the CCP, how wonderful it is, and they would even post some cartoons of the stupid things America does and what brilliant things like China does, like speaking with North Korea recently and even bringing them into the conversation. There are some Western shills, for example. We call them shills. Westerners who live in China for a long time get paid by the CCP, even though they deny it. They have been caught on certain channels like Serpent ZA and Laowai 86. The links will be in the description for the good guys here a little bit later on. One of them is this guy here, Barrett. He tried to leave, or he did leave China because of the COVID situation. Now he came back and advertising BYD cars quite recently, but doesn't talk about them going on fire. Another one, a new one on the scene, is this guy, Jerry's Take on China. He actually criticized the Dalai Lama for a Tibetan culture, which is like sticking your tongue out, like that. Go to 7 years in Tibet with Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt got banned in China, but he put them down with that one. And another bunch of them would be here. One on the left-hand side here is Brian Beletic. He just constantly bashes and always would mention Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Libya, and proxy war and war of nutrition, just repeating what the Russian government and the Chinese government dictate for him to say. The one in the middle is Cyrus Jensen. He's an American. He's a PGA golf pro turned geopolitical analyst. I don't know how he did that, but he has a softer approach for it. And a really evil guy here is a guy called Alex, lives in Chongqing in China, works for a company called iChongqing, and has even quoted, wouldn't it be great if all leaders were like Xi Jinping? I couldn't think of something worse. And again, they post on Twitter, they post on Facebook, they post on all the social media outlets. They will post on the Chinese ones because it is anti-USA, anti-Western world. There are a lot more to mention, but you would say these are sort of like the top three evil Westerners who get paid a bucket load of money from the Chinese government to promote it. There's no other way. Brian Beletic gets so much money, for example, the guy on the left-hand side, he gets paid so much money, he doesn't even put the monetization on his channel. That's how much money he gets. Otherwise, he just couldn't make a living just waffling on for free and a support from Patreon. I'm going off topic, but this is a rant and a rave. So, go and have a look at Twitter, for example. Go and have a look on Twitter and put in CCP, put in China Daily, put in Global Times, and you can see all the anti-American rhetoric on a Western media platform. Why can't we, the people from the West or the people from the free world, actually go onto Weibo and put on ours? It wouldn't be allowed. Trying to get an account on social media, you near enough need to put in your ID card, etc. And if you did say anything wrong, guess what? Especially if you're in China, the police would come and ask you to take it down. Even if you're in a foreign country, they will get to you one way or the other and say, take this post down. So when they say in China, do you have freedom? Well, there is relative freedom, but when you say anything bad against all the truth with the CCP, well, just forget it. The Tiananmen Square incident, the anniversary is coming up in a couple of months' time. There will be very little about it. There will be nothing there, but you will see on Twitter some things that we will remember, and the anti-West propaganda guys from all four walks of life saying it didn't happen in 1989. It goes on and on like that. So what do you think of this Chinese propaganda, this government propaganda infiltrating the West? The unfortunate thing is that it is working. It is working, and people start to believe all this rhetoric coming from it. Now, I know no government in the world is the best in the world related to politics. It's always been the same. But now we have this electronic media, so to speak, and we just need a computer to post. We don't need to submit to a newspaper, whatever. We can put in our point of views. It gets out of hand. And what Twitter should really do is saying, well, if you're going to post that, that's fine, but can other people post on your social media? Tit for tat, making it even, an even playing field. And China is just taking advantage of the freedom of Twitter, so to speak. I know some people are going to disagree and saying it's not free, it's restricted, etc., etc., but you get the drift of this. So I will post a link to this on Twitter and then on Facebook, and that will be allowed. If I put a link on, you could say WeChat, for example, then it wouldn't be allowed. It would be taken down, and possibly I would be blocked from WeChat. I could never do it on Chinese media like Weibo. It would be exactly the same. And to get an account, again, you need to have an ID card in China, or someone's got to recommend you. It is all food for thought. Again, what do you think? Post some comments below on this. There are some good guys who do post on YouTube and show you the other side of the argument. You could say the Western side with a lot of evidence there. One would be China Uncensored, one would be China in Focus, one would be the China Show, Serpent ZA, Free China, YGZ Taiwan, Laowai 86, Lili Farley, are all guys who near enough do speak Chinese and have lived and have worked in China for reasons before, and have left for certain other reasons as well. And you can see those guys, and I will put the link in that, because they do analyze it a lot more, and it's just their experience and the connections that they have in China, bring it all into one show. Let's leave it there for today. That is my rant and rave. My name is James. This is the James N. Cooper Show, and I will see you soon. Have a wonderful May Day, or in the communist world, Labor Day. Bye-bye for now.